that's just the cash aid that we give them. We also give them about $2 billion in military hardware. And let me explain how this works, because it's complicated, but and sort of insane. We are we're the largest arm dealer in the world. We supply the world with its weapons. Israel especially. But in Israel's case, what we do is we give them approximately $2 billion in money with which that they use to buy weapons from us. So we give them $3 billion. Then we give them another $2 billion so that they could buy weapons from us. Think about that for a second.
What's that?
It's like if I gave you $1 so that you could buy $1 worth of material from me. What? But that's how we've done it. It's how we've done it for decades. It's not going to change. No one, no politician would dare stand on the floor of Congress and suggest we cut this money off. That would be it for them. This is the last time they would be able to stand on the floor of Congress. The pro-Israel sentiment here in the United States is so strong. I mean, we are so completely married to Israel that the notion of even not just cutting aid, but making it, contingent on something. Well, yeah, we'll give you $3 billion as long as you stop doing this. Even that is just like off the table. No one would dare say something like that. Again, the one president who dared say it took it back a week later. That was a question. Yes.
Under what agreement is that aid happening? Everyone can't use the appropriate money.
Well, the truth is that when we first started giving that aid to Israel, they were a very young nation. They were just sort of getting off the ground. So, we give a lot of aid. We give $1.5 billion to Egypt. Now, just so you know, we give that $1.5 billion to Egypt so that they maintain the peace process with Israel. So, and then we also give a little more than $1 billion to Jordan for the very same reason. So all in all, 3, 5, 6, 7.5 billion dollars a year, more or less. And if we can get a peace deal between Israel and Syria, we'll probably end up giving Syria another $1 billion too. All of that to sort of maintain sort of stability there. So there was a time, I think, that you could make an argument that Israel needed this money. But that time has come and gone. Israel is a very, very wealthy, very powerful, totally developed country. It's not a developing country. It's not a third world country anymore. It was, but it's not anymore. In fact, their economy is doing way better than our economy right now, actually. Way better than our economy. But again, this is not up for discussion. There is not, I'm not, it sounds silly to say this, but there is no debate in Washington about this issue. No one questions this. No one stands up and says, not in Washington, outside of Washington, yeah. Everyone talks about this. But inside of Washington, nobody talks about this. It's not like as though there's some discussion about whether we should talk about maybe lowering this money, or does Israel really need it anymore, etc. The money that we give them comes out to, from what I understand, about $800 per Israeli per year, some large amount of money. So we just hand every Israeli